Welcome everyone back to the Persistence Podcast here. We are thankful to be joined by Stephen Washington, the current SGA president for the 2020-2021 school year. We will be sitting down and speaking to him about his experiences at SHIP, see why he does the things that he does across campus, and all of that. I'm joined today by John Ograh, of course, my other co-host that is always here with me. Hi, John.
Hi, Nate, and hi, Stephen.
Great. So, Stephen, we're going to get started here. I know I sent you a couple questions beforehand, but I was wondering if you could start us with just telling us about yourself.
Nate, John, thank you for having me on. I really do appreciate the opportunity. Just to give a little background about myself is, I'm a current senior here at the university studying management information systems with a minor in military science. Throughout my time, I've had the opportunity to be a part of different organizations and such as, the Academic Success Program. That's actually how I entered the university, also known as the ASP program. A resident assistant as the ROTC Living Learning Community RA. I was heavily involved with ROTC, student trustee with the Council of Trustees of the university, and now as a student government president. I've kind of seen the university from the entry level to the very top where the decisions are made. So it's giving me a broad perspective. So, after school, I plan on going to work for Mercedes-Benz USA at their headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia. So again, I say thank you for having me on.
Great, thanks for that. I think John's going to ask our next question.
Yeah, that's a great insight learning about your journey here at Shippensburg. My question would go this way. Why did you choose to serve students?
Mhm. Yeah, John, that's actually a really good question because I'm not sure how many students come in as first year students and say, hey, my goal is to just help everybody on the campus, right? From a very broad perspective. You know, I'm super big on, personal development, not only for myself, but for others. So what I really try to focus on is whenever I come into contact with anyone, whether it be a one-on-one conversation or a meeting or gathering with, hundreds of people, it's to always pass on at least something to them that they can take away to better themselves, and for me to take away something from them to benefit, myself and my knowledge and my growth. So it's that mutual exchange. It kind of got to the point where, I came in the university and I was really heavily involved with ROTC. And I was learning a lot from my fellow cadets, but also, passing on a lot of knowledge. And, it got to the point where, passing along and learning from one person turned into two, turned into three, turned into four. And it just grew and grew from there. So, why I serve students? It's because there's so much that you can learn, not only from, a person who is, per se is, above you and more experienced than yourself, but also those that are, you know, they're brand new to the experience because they bring a whole new perspective to the table. So that's why I serve students.
Great, thank you for that. I think it's really important to realize why we do the things that we do, um, especially whenever you devote so much time voluntarily to different students across campus. And I know that you just touched on this a little bit, speaking about working for Mercedes-Benz after you're done with school, but I was wondering if you could talk about a little bit about your future plans and kind of how you decided on that path.
Yeah, Nate, that's a good one because my plan whenever I came into college, my plan for after school has definitely changed through the past 4 years. When I came into the university, I actually initially wanted to be a general in the United States Army. So I actually graduated from Carson Long Military Academy that was formerly located in New Bloomfield, Pennsylvania, in Perry County. But that I was, doing what I need to do with the military, and unfortunately, due to a peanut allergy, I was medically disqualified. So I was not allowed to continue with the program, and my scholarship was revoked. And so I had to quickly turn around and find out, okay, what am I going to do? So this was about sophomore year. And I took the time. There was about a 2 to 3 month period where I had no idea, what I was going to do, which direction I wanted to go, and how I was going to do it. So I kind of just looked, internally, and said, okay, what are some things that I enjoy, and what am I passionate about? So my answer is cars. Anybody that has met me, or has talked to me on a very casual basis has known that my love for cars is immense. I'm super big in the luxury exotic market, and everything about them. I love them. So I said, okay, but my purpose is leadership and leading others. Um, so I combined the two, and I said, okay, so why not be a senior level executive for a luxury and or an exotic car company? So, from there, I did my research, and I reached out to different people in the automotive industry. And it just turns out that, Mercedes-Benz kind of fit that mold as to, their ethics and morals and the way they operate really aligned well with the culture that I was looking to enter for the workforce. So that's kind of how I stumbled upon Mercedes-Benz. It was just a mutual fit in regards to culture. It wasn't easy. There sure is a lot of things, and right now, after the pandemic, we're looking at a lot of different roads that may be closed off that were open because of, as they call, right sizing, downsizing, where they're getting rid of a lot of people. So, um, but yeah, that's pretty much after college, and then I mean down the road, I will open up a Premier Leadership Academy for high schoolers, but that is pretty much the plan as of right now.
So before we get into the next question, I want to touch on that a little bit. Why Mercedes? I know you said that your idea of their culture really attracted you, but what about it? What was it like? Did you have an aha moment? You know, um, just speak on that just a little bit for me.
Yeah, yeah. So Mercedes-Benz, you think of Mercedes-Benz, and you think of a lot of things. You think of course, luxury, status, and all that kind of things. But also what you think about is the quality, the way things hold up, the type of service that you get. Um, if you've seen any recent Mercedes-Benz commercials, they have their slogan is the best or nothing. So we're either going to do it right, or we're not going to do it at all. And we're going to do it to the best of our abilities, or we're not going to do it at all. So we are always going to be 100% in the fight, in the battle, making our product the best for our consumers, for the people that we serve. And that's exactly what I believe in. I've had the opportunity to work with a couple of other auto manufacturers, and I cannot say that that level of commitment and quality is across the board. So it goes into my daily life, and everything that I do, I try to do to the best of my abilities. Because if I'm not doing it 100%, it's really not worth doing.
It makes a lot of sense. Thanks.
Thank you, Stephen, for sharing your future plans. My next question would be, what has made you successful this past year?
Ooh, John, that's a really good question. Let me just start off by saying that this past year, was tough, very tough. Um, I like to think of myself as a tough individual. Um, but this past year, I do have to say that because of the climate and different things, it was a tough year. But I think really a lot of the people around me that I surrounded myself, friends, mentors, family, really, really is what kept me on the right track, keep moving forward, and accomplishing the goals that I set out to do. So I really, really, really believe that this year, and what we attribute to success is really the people we had around us, because it's the people we had around us that remind us what we do. So this year was tough, and I think it was for a lot of the students that will be listening in. But again, surround yourself with good people. Surround yourself with people who will continue to push you and motivate you to do your best at all times. And that might not be easy, but for sure, once you find that crowd, once you find that group, it'll make things a lot easier.
I think it takes special people around you. You know, for me, whenever I look back at this past year about all the blessings that I've been able to go through, all the things that I've been able to experience, um, you have to understand where you're at and where you're going, and that what you're going through isn't where you're going to be in the next month, 2 months, year, whatever. So as you look back throughout your time at Shippensburg, or your path moving forward, is there anything that you would change? Like any experiences that you've had that you wish that, hindsight is 2020, that you could just go back and change?
And you're completely right, Nate. But that's exactly why, looking back, I honestly would not change anything, because I definitely would not be the person I am today. And I know that might seem like a cop-out answer, but in all honesty, my path to where I am today is very unorthodox, right? It's not a path that everyone has taken or will take. And truthfully speaking, that there are some moments that I was like, oh man, why'd I do that? But it's exactly, why when I made those decisions, the outcome was the way it was. It's because everything I've done in my past. So I will share one thing, was pretty funny. So Mercedes-Benz, right? Last fall semester, so a year ago, Mercedes-Benz reached out to me and they offered me a 6-month internship, right? I didn't apply for this, it was kind of just out of the blue. So they came to me and offered me this 6-month internship in Atlanta at their headquarters, 6 month. They would pay a stipend for room and board. Oh man, it was a good offer, really good offer.
That's right up your alley.
Exactly. So I was very, very, very tempted to take this. The only problem was that the internship started like February 21st or something like that last year.
Oh no.
Right, exactly. So that means that I wouldn't be able to do the spring semester of I wouldn't be able to can you do the spring semester. And that was a really tough decision for me, because I was like, okay, what do I do? Do I take a semester off and go work for Mercedes-Benz for half of a year, or do I stay in school and pass up the opportunity with Mercedes-Benz and hope and pray that I'm blessed with another internship opportunity? Oh, I mean, I denied it. I told him, hey, listen, I'm sorry, I can't do this. I wish I could, let me know if you have any other opportunities in the future. Right. And it's funny because I looked at the start date, which was the end of March. And then I looked at when everything closed down, at the end of March. So I would have only really been at my internship for a month. Um, so I would have been at the internship in Atlanta for a month. I would have been stuck in Atlanta because of COVID. So it's there's a lot of things that, in the moment, I really wish I would have done. But as time went on, I decided that, hey, listen, it's pretty good. We ran for student government president, and we're now on the board of governors for the Pennsylvania state system. So I mean, hey, you don't do some things, you can gain some things, and etc. So
I think you landed on your feet, to say the least.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, yes, it's been a blessing, and I've really, really turned out well. It all turned out for the better.
Yeah, it is. I must say, Stephen, you have a rich experience navigating through your life on campus, your future plan to work with Mercedes-Benz, how things have planned out for you. I am curious to know, you have 30 minutes to speak to the first year orientation class next year. What do you talk about?
Ooh, John, that's a really good one. And I I actually think about this often, because you never know when you're going to run across some students on campus, or you sit down and have lunch with them. What am I going to say? And honestly, it took me a while to come to this conclusion, but this is what I've started to tell, the first year students that I interact with, is that 4 years seems like a lifetime, but it is, in hindsight, very, very, very short. So take your time at the university seriously, but also don't get bogged down and stuck on what item. Say if you say, hey, I'm going to be a doctor, right? I'm going to be a doctor, right out of school. That's what I want to do. I want to go to medical school. Um, if things just don't work out, or you start taking class and it turns out you know completely despise biology and chemistry, etc. Hey, listen, explore your options, because you have the time to explore. You have the time to talk to people outside the university. You have the time to talk to people inside the university. So take advantage of the things and the resources that are at your disposal. um, but I know that doesn't necessarily sound super cool. So they'll probably check out as soon as I say that. But if I would just have to put it short and sweet, I would definitely say, listen, this is your time to figure out who you are and what you want to do. But don't let people here, don't let people, outside here tell you that you need to pick one thing and do that for the rest of your life. Pick what you like right now. Pick what you're passionate about right now and focus on that. Because after the 4 years are completed, you have a lot more time to figure out what you want to do, because you might end up doing multiple things during your lifetime. So that's what I would tell the first year students.
I think that's something that a lot of students have struggled with, um, especially during this pandemic, is not only not being bogged down by your academics, but simply just finding joy in what we're doing. Um, whenever you work for something, because, as a full-time student, that's your job. Your job is to go to school, and then some other students even have to work on top of that to provide for their families, to provide for, there might be someone back home. Um, you know, it, and it sounds like you have a lot on your plate. So I'm wondering, like other, student leaders, you're working all the time, and then you have classes, then you have papers, and you have all these things going on. Where do you find joy in your work? And that work can be, your work with student government, your work with the Board of Governors, something that you did throughout your time at SHIP, or even just in academics in general.
Yeah, yeah. So, Nate, I think it's funny. You'll probably see this as no surprise, but I am definitely an extrovert.
Are you sure? Really? You think so?
I get my energy from being around people. I find joy in being around with other people, hearing their stories. Just hanging out, having fun with them. So, truthfully speaking, where I find joy is working with the different people at different times. That's what always brings a smile to my face, and that's actually kind of what made this past year so tough. Because when we're in meetings or in professional settings, you're talking on Zoom, but you don't get the chance to break away and have those side conversations with people, or your classmates. To really learn who they are and learn what they want to do. So where I find joy in all this and how I take breaks is I socialize. So I'm not really on social media. I don't socialize like that. I mean, I have different social media and all that, but I rarely use it. So if you find me on it, I mean, good luck. But I don't really use it in that way. But in person, very, very, very sociable. Very sociable.
I'm sure that's hard during a pandemic when everything's online.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We find time though.
So I think you have touched part of the last question we have for you, while you were trying to answer how you find joy in the midst of your tight schedule. We have a last question, which is how do you find time for yourself? You touched on that a little bit. Um, do you have something else to say about that?
Yeah. It's really big in just time management. I was fortunate enough to learn some time management skills before I came to college and implemented those. But scheduling out time for yourself is super important. That's why for me, I mean, part of my day is obviously I got to eat. Whenever I'm in the dining hall, I actually sit by myself, because that's one of my times to sit, relax, rejuvenate, and get ready for the next task. So I very rarely eat meals with other people, but it's just finding 30 minutes here, 10 minutes there, super, super important. So, but I also like to and socialize. I also like to play guitar and music, right? And I sing. So finding those times to break away and relax, after you come back from doing work in the evenings, it's very, very important. Very important.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I know personally for me, trying to find time for myself is extremely hard. I actually have to put it on my calendar that I am, doing this, that time is blocked off. So I can't have, meetings scheduled on it or, whatever. But Stephen, I really want to thank you for coming out today. I know John and I extremely appreciate the time to sit down and talk to you about your experiences, especially as being our first student on our podcast, leading the way for the rest of the students on campus. With you at the helm, I'm sure that we're going to have another successful semester in the spring. And the time that I've come to know you, you don't give up, just like you said, towards the beginning. And I know that trickles down throughout the rest of the student leaders and through the campus. So truly, I want to thank you for everything that you've been doing, especially in the fall semester.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Nate. Thank you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
just to join words with Nate, we want to thank you. You are a go-getter, very optimistic. And I think these two words are something that have made you achieve a lot while in your various positions here in SHIP. So once again, thank you for finding that time to join us in this podcast.
Absolutely.
Outstanding. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, and to the students, remember, stay focused on focused on what's ahead, because you're destined for great things. I know it, you know it. So let's do it.
Great. All right. Well, Stephen, again, thank you. Wish you the best in the spring semester. And yeah, we will talk to you soon.
Outstanding. Thank you.